We could finally stop talking about the Eagles offensive coordinator search. Next week, we can start talking about the offseason because the Eagles have settled on their offensive coordinator. Sean Mannion is the guy. Who? Well, we're going to talk about who in just a moment. Trending in the AM, breaking down and taking your thoughts and opinions on the new Eagles play caller live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all to a beautiful Friday morning right here on the STT Sports Network. This is Trending in the AM, your number one morning show in Philadelphia, the only show where your opinions actually matter. Please, wherever you are, whether you're watching this right now live or you're watching this on replay, please do me a favor. Hit the like button on your screen. It's free to do. Click the share button wherever it is on your screen. It is free to share it out. And please subscribe starting today at 1,007 subscribers. Please like, share, subscribe, click all the buttons. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. This has been a huge week for the channel. A lot of growth, finally crossing the 1,000 plateau. Let's close it strong. The Eagles closed the week strong by hiring their offensive coordinator. So let's close the week strong. Let's talk about it before we get to the comments. Obviously, the Eagles have their man, Sean Mannion. 33-year-old from the Green Bay Packers, 8-year backup quarterback in the NFL, 2-year offensive coach. What do we think of the Eagles' decision not to go with the safe picks of Matt Nagy or Jim Bob Cooter, not to go with the flashy young names like a Nate Skeelhouse or Charlie Weiss, not getting one of the guys like Cliff Kingsbury or Mike McDaniel or Brian Dable? They went with another unknown commodity. And I'm here to tell you guys, do not panic. This is not Kevin Patullo. This is not Kevin Patullo Jr. This is a totally, totally different person. And we're going to go into it. I can't say I'm super pumped, but I'm not super disappointed like some Eagles fans. Guys, please vote on the poll question if you're watching live on YouTube. How do you feel about the hiring of Sean Mannion? Your 4 options are love it, hate it, time will tell, safe choice. They're your options. I love it. Time will tell, but I do love it in the moment right now. Right to the comments. Adam, good morning. I like Sean Mannion choice. He did pretty good in Green Bay. Very smart, well-regarded person. But Jim Bob Cooter would have been – the Cooter counter gets to go away. Just saw Justin Verlander going to the Mets. Yeah, I just looked it up. I can't believe he's still pitching. He's going to be 43 years old this year. Dude's still going. It's going to be his 21st, 22nd season. And although he lost 11 games last year, he still had a sub-4 ERA. Good morning, Duck. How you doing? He's young and seems to be well-liked and quite intelligent. I hope that's enough. He is. Every report I read, everything I've seen is that Green Bay is very disappointed in losing him. And I'm going to bring this up. Anthony DeBona, we know Anthony DeBona from the Philly Special and all the great work he does. But he put a comment out there, or he interviewed somebody. He talked to one of the Green Bay beat reporters. He said he's a fast riser. The story behind him is that Matt LaFleur coached Mannion with the Rams. After the 23 season, the Bears wanted to interview him. So Mannion used Matt LaFleur as a prep for his first coaching interview. And LaFleur was so impressed, he hijacked him and stole him immediately. All right? So that's what you're getting with Sean Mannion, someone that's so impressive in their first interview that he's stolen. So Sean Mannion's a smart, fast riser, a guy that is well-regarded. There are people in Green Bay that would have rather fire their OC to keep Sean Mannion versus losing him. So it's a good thing, okay? Good morning, Robert. Hope you're doing well this morning. I have one thing to say, Phil. Come off it. Nah. What's up, Rick? How you doing today? I like the hire. This fan base is going to be pleasantly surprised. I agree. I don't know if you saw it, Rick. You're not on Twitter. But I shared a video I found of him, just a random press conference of his, all right, from last year. Okay? And quarterback coaches don't speak to the press a lot. But he sounds, when he speaks, so intelligent. But in this short little 60-second clip that I shared on Twitter, he talked about progression, going through your reads, how important footwork is to the success of a quarterback. Just listening to the detail he speaks with, all right, and how clear and intelligent he is. You know, Kevin Petula was an unknown, right, an inexperienced guy. But Kevin Petula had been in the NFL for almost 20 years and never got the opportunity. Sean Mannion's getting his opportunity 2 years into his coaching career. Why? Because he's got something up here that just makes him stand out. Better than Joe Brady. Maybe. Robert says it's a good hire. I agree. 100% a good hire. He might be super good being so young. He's finally going to grow into it. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a guy that is going to be a head coach. He is, at some point. He's one of those guys already tabbed to be a head coach. But he's so young and inexperienced that you got a damn good chance for him to be here for at least 2, maybe 3 years. Maybe. Is Vic retiring? I don't think he is. We'll find out soon, though. There are those rumors circulating, obviously, about that. Time will tell. He's been under the tutelage of many great football minds. He's going to be a very Sean McVay-esque. That is what I see. The stuff I read, the things I'm listening to, the research I'm doing, he is a very, very intelligent guy. He is going to help bring continuity to this team. He's going to keep things the same, but he's also going to bring a lot of change. I think it's very good. 2-year coaching experience, only guy willing to coach Hurts. See, I don't think that has anything to do with it, pump man. I think it has to do with the Eagles have had a lot of success hiring these young up-and-comers over the years. I mean, what was the last quarterback coach we hired from Green Bay with no coaching experience? What was his name? Mannion coached Jordan Love to top 6 quarterback rating last year and actually got Willis playing really good football. I think what he did with Jordan Love is good and stuff, Rick. But Jordan Love has this pedigree, right? People were already anointing Jordan Love the future of the NFL. To get what he got of Malik Willis late in the season, that is more impressive than what he did with Jordan Love. So that's what I like. Yeah, Pump Man is here, pumping in his Jalen Hurts hate. Yes, 30 for 30 on the ESPN Philly special. It's coming next Friday, a week from today. That news broke yesterday. I'll be watching it next Friday. And then next Saturday, I'll do a live recap of it for sure. No, it's Bin Laden with Trump's or with Hurts' face over it. He's an idiot for that. I am not on Twitter either. I will have to hunt that down. Duck, I think I've got. See, again, I don't know how. If you don't have Twitter, you can't. The only way you can share, I can share it to you, is through a Twitter video. I don't know where else it is, but it was just such a good video. The guy just sounds so intelligent. Good morning, Big Al. I don't hate it. On paper, it sounds like Petullo, so I get why people aren't loving. I disagree with the. It sounds like Petullo. That it's just Petullo Jr., right? You know, I don't see that. Okay, because Kevin Petullo was a guy that had been around for a long time and never got his opportunity, so his best buddy gave him his opportunity, right? Sean Mannion is that genius kid that's 12 going to college already, right? 2 years in the NFL as a coach. And he's already getting his first opportunity to call plays. Big, big difference there. I don't care how intelligent he is. Can he call plays? We're going to find out. We won't know, mister, until week 1, right? Having ads. Look, that's the point of getting monetized. You can skip through them after a few seconds. That's the way I start making money on this channel. That's the number one way. It's going to pop up probably 3 or 4 times every 90 minutes. You know, throughout the 90-minute show. You got to accept it. Yes, look, ads are what make the world tick, okay? They suck. It sucks, but that's how the bills get paid. Yes, I know. The ads. Look, You guys are really going to give me a hard time. That was the point, to monetize this channel, okay? The monetization is important, guys. Got to make a few bucks doing this. Let's not pretend this kid is anything special. If left guard, center, right guard play like the crap, the OC is irrelevant. Keith, you're spot on. Look, you saw, I don't know if you heard the Jason Kelsey comments, but the Jason Kelsey comments about how Landon Dickerson could barely move last year. It's tough. It's exhausting, right? There's no way that Kevin Petula was fully to blame last year because of the injuries and the poor play. 1,000%. Petula only had one mentor. Mannion has had a ton of great minds around him. Absolutely agree. 1,000% agree with you on that. He has worked for countless minds already. Pump loves to make a splash. He does. We love you, Phil. We sit through. You can skip the ads. You can get YouTube Premium, which I'm not asking you to do that. But yeah, that's another way around it. Look, the ads aren't going to be every 10 seconds. I think I clicked the medium amount of ads, which is probably every 15 to 20 minutes, something like that. But you get to bust your fellows. Yeah. Give me a chance to catch up on comments, too, the ads. Good morning, Elephant in the Room. Chose time will tell on the poll because who really knows how it will go? Exactly. Time will tell is probably the right answer, right? You can't say you love it. You can't say you hate it, even though someone did say they hate it already in the poll question. Time will tell. Will the offensive line be healthy? Will A.J. Brown be here or not? But in theory, my biggest point of this conversation today is the simple fact that it's not Kevin Petula, right? Isn't that the point of it? It's not Kevin Petula. It's not Kevin Petula Jr. It's not an inexperienced guy. What it is it's a young, fast-rising guy. There's a difference between inexperienced and fast-rising. There really is in my mind, okay? Later, Phil, I want to know the best Ernest movie or movies. I couldn't remember any of them. They're all great. There's no such thing as a bad Ernest Goes To movie. Good morning, AK. What's happening? I hope you're well. I'm sorry, but if Dickerson couldn't move, then you don't play. Exactly. I agree. When I heard the Jason Kelsey quote news, I just thought back to the very beginning of the season when you and I were here on these shows chatting that after the surgery, he needed to sit for the first 2 to 3 weeks, right? That he needed to sit the Giants game midseason. It was ridiculous, okay? You got a YouTube Premium. I got 99 problems, but advertise. Good. A.J. Brown intentionally dropping passes and pulling up short on route intentionally didn't help the offense last year. It is. I agree. A.J. Brown, the offensive line. There were a lot of issues. Look, Kevin Petula was one of the issues. No doubt about it, right? But he wasn't the only issue. I just can't understand why everybody's just going to assume that Sean Mannion is Kevin Petula Jr. because he's never called plays. Kevin Petula is like 47 years old. Sean Mannion's 33. Sean Mannion played 8 years of NFL football. Sean Mannion was a third-round draft pick, okay? Kevin Petula, nothing. Last time Jeffrey, an unknown position coach from Green Bay, he ended up being pretty good. Look, yeah. 100%. It's not just Andy Reid, right? Like Peterson was a backup quarterback that had never called plays. Nick Sirianni was a complete unknown. YouTube Premium is plus. I never had YouTube Premium, but it's okay. I've got it up on a side screen here. Ads have only popped up one time, okay? Mannion is the next Sean McVay. I mean, is he on a track record? Is he on a trajectory of that? Possibly. I mean, we can't tell, right? We can theorize that it seems like that, right? But we don't know that for sure. He may be the next Sean McVay. I think you're saying he is going to be the next Sean McVay. is a little bit maybe too much expectations put on the guy. But I'm excited when you listen to him talk. And you know, something I complain about Kevin Petullo a lot this past year is the way he spoke to the media. He was too coach talk, right? He was too he went to the school of Andy Reid, talking to the media, or Doug Peterson, right? Sean Mannion, when he speaks to the media, sounds intelligent, but also gives you something, gives you a reason why, right? But he also doesn't just give you long-winded word salads like Nick Sirianni. So that's what I like. I appreciate that. I don't have bad problems. Sean Mannion looks like he strictly fries eggs in lard. You know what I love? Is the fact that you got pictures of him in Green Bay with next to no hair, right? But then the Eagles promotional picture that they put up that they hired him, they digitally edited hair onto his head? What's up with that? Is K1 watching? K1 is watching. K1, you'll get this. Most won't get that. You know who Sean Mannion is? I don't know if Mannion's a good fellow or Godfather's guy. You know what, K1? You know what Sean Mannion is? Sean Mannion is what happens if Scotty Scheffler had a baby with Patrick Reed. Sean Mannion is what their child would look like, okay? And only golf people will understand that. But let me tell you something. I put that on Twitter, and someone actually used it, a photo editing thing, and made a baby between those two people, and it literally looks like Sean Mannion. So, yes, I am not far off. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Reed, their love child is Sean Mannion. So the question is, how long does he stick around as the OC? At his age, at his experience level, I would expect Sean Mannion, no matter how much success the Eagles have, to be at least here for 2 years. But I would fully expect if he has success here in the next 2 to 4 years, he will find himself as a head coach at some point. By the time he's 34, 35, somewhere in that. Guys, come on. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. It's free to do. 21 people watching. There's got to be more than 8 likes. There's 17 votes on the poll, only 8 likes. Just because we hit 1,000 does not mean the growth stops. We keep hitting those buttons because it's important to this channel to keep going. Up and up. I got a new name for a new show. I'm planning out a pre-recorded interview show. I'm going to bring in all walks of life people and interview them. New up-and-comers in the podcast, media member, sports. Already working on it. Got a logo design. Got 3 names already on the list. Sean Mannion is the type to say, boots on the ground. He actually probably is. It is spot on. It is. Hey, you don't know, Mannion could have made a quick trip to Turkey recently. What? It's a good call. It really is. I said Scotty Scheffler's twin. Then Soldier Steve in the Fairway to Heaven group chat mentioned Patrick Reed as well. So then we kind of combined it to their love child. It's spot on. How is this hire any different than getting Phillip Rivers? They both have playing experience and no play calling experience. Because Phillip Rivers, well, I like this. There's something to it. Look, Phillip Rivers was a starting quarterback, not a backup quarterback. Phillip Rivers hasn't coached in the NFL at all. Sean Mannion has been around the Packers for 2 years. Sean Mannion got to learn from coaches as a backup quarterback for 8 years in the NFL. I mean, in his 8-year career, I wrote it down, he only threw 110 passes in the NFL. He had 540 passing yards in 8 years. So, he had time to learn as the backup from a lot of great coaches. Phillip Rivers on a day-to-day basis during his career was out there learning the game plan and practicing for games. Mannion was sitting there learning from the coaches. Mannion is the most interstellar man in the world. Dos Equis. Most interesting man in the world. Before I get pumped, I'll see what the guy does. I gave KP the benefit of the doubt, and he showed me he couldn't do it. Now it's Sean's turn. Yeah, look, and look, Kevin Petullo was a failure to miss. But big picture, if we go back the entire Jeffrey Lurie era, let's be honest, right? He's been pretty successful. So I'm going to give faith, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that this is going to work. Mannion speaks Russian and French. What the? David Shaw, going to regret not grabbing that guy. I hope I never see that guy in this conference, especially our division. Is it Davis Shaw? Anyway. Yeah, I mean, maybe. He wasn't even in the interview process for the Eagles. Facebook logs into what are you doing? You know what? Just keep going. You're on fire this morning. Mannion will be here for a while. At a minimum of 2 to 3 years, I would say he'll be here. But if he's successful, based off of everything I've read, with his success and his track record so far, he will be a head coach by the time he's 35, 36 years old. All right, we're climbing. Hit the like button, share button. Taylor Swift goes to Sean Mannion concert. Going recently to get hair transplants for less but equal quality. I could not have known that. Philly fans will sarcastically cheer the first time Mannion calls a pass play in the middle. Look, I have seen those people that share passing charts, okay? There's those content creators that love to share passing charts and route tree charts, right? Let me tell you something. Sean Mannion and Devontae Smith, or Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, are going to really see a different type of passing game plan coming up here this upcoming season. Those who can't teach, yeah. Mannion helped make Malik Willis look good at times this past season. I'll give him that. I'm willing to sit back and let it play out. Yeah, I'm willing to enjoy the ride, right? It's not like we're looking at Sean Mannion to help deliver us our first Super Bowl of all time. It's not like we've been 35 years without a Super Bowl championship, right? We just won one. This team is uber talented. There's a lot on the table, right, for him to work with. He's coming into a situation with a talented team. I'll bite it. Still got to figure out the offensive line. Still got to figure out tight end and A.J. Brown. But there's still a high-quality quarterback, a high-quality running back, and at least one high-quality wide receiver still on this team. Do you think Sean Mannion is here just in case it goes south, he will take over as head coach? No. I don't think Sean Mannion was brought here to specifically be the next guy. Okay, because if they were looking for an offensive coordinator who could take over as head coach, they would have gone with a more big name. It would have been Cliff Kingsbury. It would have been Mike McDaniel or something like that. Those who can't play and teach end up on ESPN, and that's true. That's true. And the ones that are even bad at that end up like on the speakeasy, right? Totally unacceptable efforts from the sports teams in the past few weeks. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If we get to the Super Bowl this upcoming season with him as OC, he will get offers almost immediate. Yeah, I think he'll be in one of those boats where he will get interviews, but on the flip side, he won't get second interviews and stuff like that. If we get to the Super Bowl, he's going to be an interesting candidate. But also, I mean, 33% of the NFL changed their head coach. There aren't going to be that many job openings next year, right? So it's going to be a smaller window. And there's definitely guys that didn't get head coaching jobs this year that are going to be ahead of him the next coaching cycle. Danny Briere has more work to do. My Zegers worries are starting to come to fruition, and I can't stand it. Get off the milk carton. Well, look, the Flyers are definitely falling, and falling fast. They are. Bridge tolls pay Sean Mannion when coming to the city. Oh, that wasn't your best one. Out of all of them, that was your weakest. What has Chase Daniels done to criticize any starting quarterback? He takes his job way too seriously. Look, Chase Daniels is just an idiot, a nitwit that is a master of the clickbait media. All right? All right, plain and simple. Maxey got 40 points last night. He called out. Look, Tyrese Maxey had a great game. That play at the end of the game to get the game-winning bucket, well-designed play, smart play. It was a really good win for the Sixers last night. But let's be honest, it shouldn't have been that close. I know the Kings have talent on their team, but they're 18-28 going to the game last night, so 18-29 now. It should not have been a 2-point game. There were a lot of issues in last night's game that shouldn't have happened. Imagine being a Broncos fan right now. I mean, it's falling apart. You got Sean Payton firing guys. You got the OC who he just fired talking trash. Oh, I knew he was going to fire me. I saw the writing on the wall. The Broncos organization under Sean Payton starting to fall apart and crumble a little bit. Briere got his work cut out for him. He does. At least Orlovsky apologized when he's wrong. He does. You know, I wanted to ask him, but then the Sean Mannion thing came out. I wonder if Dan Orlovsky would have wanted the Eagles OC job. He has hinted that he wants to coach at some point. People stop complaining about Mannion. Let's see what's going to happen. I don't think too many people are complaining, at least not in this chat, Robert. I think Sean Mannion is going to be a pleasant surprise, at least on his Tuesday press conferences, right? It's Monday, Nick Sirianni. Tuesday's the coordinators. Wednesday's Nick Sirianni. Thursday's the coordinators. I think he's going to impress us, at least with his intelligence and his ideas, right? Now, will it translate on the field? Time will tell. But anybody that says they hated it, they're just either they've got a time machine or they just want to hate for hate's sake. There's no reason to hate this idea, right? All wins are great wins. I get it. But in the NFL, in NBA, 82-game season, you're just past the halfway point. You want to see progress and growth from the team. And sometimes they're in the NBA in an 82-game season or in the NFL or the MLB 162 games. There can be things where you're not impressed with a win, right? And I wasn't impressed with the win last night. The bench struggled mightily last night for the Sixers. Still defense and rebounding issues last night. Daniels has made more money as a backup than any quarterbacks. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I really hope the Sixers bench players are just spooked by the trade deadline because they've been one of the most unreliable in the last month. They have. Absolutely. The bench is an issue. For sure. Felt the same thing last night. Yeah. Orlovsky is wrong so often he could spend the rest of the year apologizing. Yeah, at least he has slowly come around to the apologizing when wrong area. Right? He very rarely will apologize. But he has in the last year or two started. It's a major problem. Esteban Fountains, what? What Logan Woods side was not available? What? What? I don't even know what you're talking about. Hornets rock Dallas. We don't care. Look, the Sixers are up against it with the trade deadline. Obviously, Joel Embiid made comments after the game about wanting the team to stick together and keep their head up during this trade deadline, but also said something about he knows that they're contenders, so he hopes the team is active, not trying to get under the tax, but to make the people, make the team better, right? Why did Charlie Weiss Jr. turn down the job twice? Then all of a sudden we believe in the Eagles' thought process. We don't know that Charlie Weiss turned the job down twice. Charlie Weiss was interviewed virtually once, never came in for a second interview to any of my readings. Charlie Weiss has said he wanted to stay committed to LSU and Lane Kiffin this year before he got any teams interested in an interview. Charlie Weiss Jr. is interested in staying in college. Charlie Weiss also knows from his pops that every job is perfect for you. Just any job isn't always right. That's why his dad failed, right? I don't think anybody was offered the job and turned it down. Now, there might have been others yesterday. Maybe they settled on Sean Mannion over. They interviewed 4 people in the last 48 hours for a second time. Jared Johnson, Josh Gizzard, and Jim Bob Cooter, and obviously Sean Mannion. So there's no proof that anybody was offered the job. I used to get called Esteban Fountains all the time in high school. I don't know what that is. At one point, I thought the Sixers bench was 10 or 11 deep, and now it's very painful. Of course, thankful Joe is back, but they need that bench like a starving kid. Look, I said it yesterday. The Sixers would be very smart to put Barlow back in the starting lineup and put Kelly Oubre on the bench. So you have a guy that can come in off the bench early in the first quarter, or late in the first quarter and late in the third quarter, and provide a spark. Kelly Oubre could still be on the court in the final 3 minutes of the game but I really think Kelly Oubre should be coming off the bench because the bench is weak. Right now, your bench without Grimes, who's been hurt, but even with Grimes, Justin Edwards, I've been saying since day one 2 years ago, is overrated. I don't know. They can't seem to figure out Andre Drummond and Dembona. McCain, one good game, quiet game last night. Barlow is what Barlow is. He's not an offensive savant. So when Grimes is out, you've got no offense on the bench. So Kelly Oubre would be that guy. Weiss used his interview to get more money at his position to keep him. Probably. It's Spanish for you, goof. You think I know Spanish? No comprende español. Hive mentality. What? Even Charlie Weiss knew he needed more seasoning. You know, there's something to that. I wonder if Sean Mannion's worried that he's not seasoned enough for this job. I wonder if Sean Mannion is ready for the attention he is going to get here. I wonder if Sean Mannion understands what he's walking into here in Philly, right? There's definitely something to that as well. It's my first name in Spanish and what my last name means in English. Okay. All right. As far as we know, no one before yesterday was offered the positions. I wouldn't doubt that the last 4 OC candidates were the ones. If Mannion didn't take it, Cooter would have gotten an offer, et cetera. Exactly. I truly believe you're right, Duck. That is the way I feel it's gone down. They gathered as much information as they could. They talked to as many candidates as they wanted to, and they got their guy. I saw some Brandon Ingram train rumors, and I hate the idea. Yeah. Look, Brandon Ingram, I don't know. I don't know what his contract is now. Brandon Ingram, I feel like I've talked about pairing up on the Sixers for 20 years now. It is what it is. I see the obvious Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors, and it's the worst. The Sixers should absolutely not trade for Antetokounmpo or Brandon Ingram. Any big names. You want to trade to get yourself some bench help? Sure. You want to make a trade to add depth to this team? Sure. You want to trade to get under the tax threshold? Fine. But I'm not trading VJ Edgecombe. I'm not trading Jared McCain. I'm not trading the Clippers pick. I'm not trading those 3 things. Those 3 things are off the table because, A, I don't think it would help this team this year, and B, I think it could hurt the team big picture. Baseball season is coming. You know, it's funny. I don't even know who they are. I just found them last night, going through reels on social media. I don't know what their names are, but it's these people that do these trippy videos and stuff like that. Lots of colors, whatever. Funny videos. And the one I saw this morning was, we're effed, but he didn't say effed. He actually used the word. It was just 2 people looking and flipping around a colorful screen saying, we're effed, we're effed, we're effed. And the first thing I thought of when I saw that video was the Philadelphia Phillies. Spanish came in handy in high school when my friends wanted to talk about dope around our parents. It would have came in living in, and working and owning a business in Kennett Square, which is literally Mexico City North, all right? And I never learned Spanish, okay? 18 years in Kennett. Actually, 20, counting my time at Applebee's. Sixers will be fine. I mean, they could be better. What's up, Little G? Good morning to you. I wonder what Sean Mannion was told about A.J. Brown. You damn well know that every interview involved a question back to the Eagles about A.J. Brown and the offensive line. I wonder what Sean Mannion and these other coordinators were told about those guys. The more I watch, the more I have to question if Nurse can maximize the talent on this roster. I agree with that 100%. Definitely can now understand the complaining the Raps fan did at the end of Nurse. Is it crazy to say that this is Nurse's last year? If he doesn't get, say, past the second round, or at least to the second round and competitive in the second round, I've doubted Nick Nurse since day one. By the way, even if I am not in the market for a new gig, I will take an interview if offered because it's good experience to know what exactly. Some of these guys probably took the interview just for, like we did all these interviews to gather as much information. Well, some of these people took interviews to gather information as well, right? It's a two-way street there, information speaking wise, right? So I'm okay with that. 100% okay with it. Phil, you could be OC, just tell Hurts to run. There's a little bit more to it. I don't think I could be an OC. AJ is not going anywhere until the end of 26 at the earliest. Probably. But if we get blown away with an offer, he'll be gone. Just got hit with the 3 ads trying to get into this feed. Yes, it happens every 20, 25 minutes. That is the point of monetizing a YouTube channel. You will see every 20, 25 minutes. You can skip through some of the ads. But yes, there are ads. How do you expect me to make money? I'm unemployed. At the same time, I wouldn't be mad if they kept the roster stability, but they need that Bellinelli and Turkish Thunder signings. What was the other guy? Bellinelli, the year before. That other shooting, he was a bigger guy. He was a little taller that we traded for. We do. A Marco Bellinelli, a Seth Curry, right? What was the big dude that could shoot? That's what we need. We need a guy that could play no game minutes, a couple games, then come in off the bench and drain threes. I just want to know why I keep seeing ads with stop. Also, time will tell on Mannion. Let's see what he's got. Absolutely agree. Well, I got a ton of ads. I have yet to get an ad watching this. Well, there you go. Ilyasova, that was his name. I knew who you were talking about, but I couldn't. Ersan Ilyasova, that was his name. Look, I've only gotten him once on my side screen here, okay? And I clicked skip right through. So, it is what it is. Yes, Nurse won't be here next year if the Sixers don't get past the first round. Okay, that's what I'm kind of judging. Like, what does he have to succeed at to get past it, right? Spanish came in handy in high school because it was an easy 3 credits, not much homework. I wanted to take Spanish class, but I guess I signed up too late. So I got stuck in the German class. So ich spreche Deutsch, aber nicht sehr gut. Okay? That's all I remember of my German from high school. We never should have got rid of Korkmaz. The Turkish MJ right there played with some swagger. Phil, after 1 month of being monetized, intended, I'm rich and you're not. Yeah, my Ted DiBiase laugh doesn't come out frequently enough. I will say that. Guys, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. Occasional pop-up in the chat that I can just X out of. Hey, look, it is what it is. Today's the first day of ads. It is what it is. I'm an unemployed man. That's what it is. Plain and simple. Unemployed. Unemployed people need money, right? It's not much, but it's something. For all the years I put up with you guys could put up with some ads, right? 18 likes. All right. So we're clicking the button solidly. We do have 22 votes on the poll, though. Happy for you. Hey, look, it's all good, right? Maybe I'll do some ad-free shows occasionally because I can turn the ads off on my end. Maybe I'll make a membership channel, a membership show where you got to be a member and pay to get an ad-free experience. No, I would never do that. I would never do that to you guys. Anyway. Sean Mannion is much closer to the hiring of Shane Steichen than he is Kevin Petullo. Sean Mannion is much more like the Cowboys hiring Kellen Moore when they first hired him. And those guys succeeded, right? Let's remember, Shane Steichen was not an offensive coordinator, play caller before coming here. Had no play calling experience. Kellen Moore was out of playing football 1 year. He spent 1 year as an offensive assistant before becoming the Cowboys play caller, right? And we know how that went. Obviously, he didn't have major success with Dallas, but he had some success with Dallas. Fast riser, right? That's actually he spent 3 years with the Cowboys, one with the Chargers and one with the Eagles. So he went 5 years as a young, inexperienced offensive coordinator before getting his first head coaching gig. So I think Kellen Moore, better than Shane Steichen, is a great trajectory to look at or great comparison to think of when you're thinking of Sean Mannion. Like how much are we talking? Like a $20 spot a day? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. What I'm going to make or what a membership would be. No, it wouldn't be that. Problem is, if we can't tell how many subs you have anymore, yeah, I mean, so what it is you're only going to see, I think it goes up on like the main screen, like in increments of 10. So When I get to 1010, it'll say 1.01. Or if I get to like 1100, it'll say 1.1. I think that's based off of what I see on other people's pages. Because I have to go, like, I can't see how many I have. I have to go to the studio page, like the back-end YouTube studio page, to see the exact number, which is 1007. Sean Mannion is the tallest coach in the league, right now. So there's that. What is? I did not know that about him. What is he like? My guess is he's probably something like 6'6" from the pictures I've seen. 6'7". He's a third-round quarterback. So yeah, he's probably like 6'6", my guess. Vitamins takes Sean Mannion to stay healthy. What is the Ted DiBiase backstory? How did he become rich? He wasn't rich. That was just his character, his gimmick. Okay? And Vince McMahon would give him splash money to keep the gimmick alive at all times. When Mannion writes an old-school check, the bank bounces. Oh, my God. Well, people are ready for more snow Sunday. I don't think we're going to be getting any more snow. I think the snow is going to pass us by this weekend. It's going to be cold as bleepity bleep. There ain't no doubt that. But it is going to be no snow, I think. And didn't Andy hire Mike Kafka pretty soon after he retired? Probably. I think Doug Peterson got hired by Andy Reid also pretty quickly after he retired. There's plenty of cases of people getting hired, backup quarterbacks, right? It's really true. The backup quarterback and the backup catcher in baseball both make excellent coaches, all right? Because they have time as a backup to learn the game, right? They have time to figure out the X's and O's because they're not playing as much, if at any. In practice, they're not even getting as many reps, right? So they have time to digest what the coaches are doing. They have time to listen to the coaches versus trying to implement what the coaches are talking about. Backup quarterbacks and backup catchers make great coaches in football and baseball. I'm not sure if any other sport has something similar. I'm trying to think. Like backup goalies don't do it. In basketball, no, actually, bigger name players do better than backups in basketball. No more snow, just cold as balls, basically. I'm so tired of it. All right, so yeah, it's about every 22 minutes on the ad. I just had another pop-up. Last one was at the 22-minute mark of the show. This is 42 with 43 minutes, and I skipped right through it in 20 seconds. There's nor'easter coming, but it's going to stay off course, or off the coast. If that low-pressure system drifts west by 50 miles, I won't need to do any squats or crawls. Yeah, agreed. Jason Garrett was OC, pretty young, too. Absolutely. Now, Jason Garrett might not have had great success as a coach. He had decent success as an OC. Terrible head coach. Surprised no one else has given him another chance, honestly. But Jason Garrett was a fast riser. He was at one point thought of as a very, smart offensive mind that was going to have a long coaching career in the NFL. So you know what? Yeah. There's plenty of examples of backup quarterbacks, right? Making it in the NFL. I'm trying to think of others. I love the pull of Jason Garrett there. It's a really smart one, for sure. If a nor'easter comes, takes me away, so I'm done with this one. I am too. So done. Okay? I haven't been in the gym all week. I've been forging my body, shoveling snow, and breaking ice. We went out yesterday for the first time. We left our house for the first time since the snowstorm, but there was still some ice on my wife's car, and I literally couldn't get it off. I was literally punching, okay, with my hand, sledgehammering ice with my hand. Was Garrett the ultimate Nepo hire, Jason Garrett? Maybe. I don't know. He was with the Giants. Jason Garrett's had a few stops in his coaching career. Garrett was fine, but Dallas and the Giants doesn't yell great careers. Yeah, I mean, he also went to some pretty awful organizations, awfully run organizations as well. So that definitely could play a part in it as well. Jason Garrett's brother, Judd, was on the Eagles practice squad way back in the day. Didn't even know he had a brother, let alone a brother that was part of the Eagles organization. So that's deep dive knowledge right there, Rick. On the deep dive on Jason Garrett. Who cares, right? No offense. I'm not really worried about that, but I get it. Backup court. And so I think too much will be made of Sean Mannion's lack of experience, right? Because we don't know. Jason Garrett, so Kellen Moore, good, right? There's lots of experiences of similar situations working out good or bad, right? He might be he's a great clapper, though, right? He's really good at clapping, all right? He's in the Hall of Fame of clapping. Him and Al Horford, Hall of Fame clappers right there, okay? Plain and simple. Look, keeping up with Garrett, yeah. I didn't know there was a reality show that Rick was watching on the Garrett's life, right? And their family. Time will tell. But what's more important to Sean Mannion's success, and he also, right? He's an inexperienced, fast riser. He wants that first opportunity. But again, he probably asked about A.J. Brown. He probably asked about the health of the offensive line, right? Without a healthy offensive line, without a plan to keep him happy or replace him, A.J. Brown, Sean Mannion, Jim Bob Cooter, Matt Nagy, Mike McDaniels, Cliff Kingsbury, all would struggle here calling plays next year, right? So, until we know what the rest of the offseason brings, we're not going to know. I don't think Captain Clapp's brother has been in the league since 2000 as a coach. Yeah, I don't know. Sirianni only hired Mannion because he thinks AJ can't intimidate a 7-foot coach. I don't think he's 7 foot, but he's pretty tall. All right, that's like basketball players adding 2 inches to their bios, right? Sean Mannion, I believe, broke fan favorite Matt Barkley's Pac-10 passing record back in the day. Well, I don't know what Matt Barkley's record was, but I did look up his playing career in college. He played 4 years at Oregon State, but his junior year, 2013, he threw for 4,662 yards and 37 touchdown passes. Now, he did throw 15 interceptions that year, but he did throw for 4,600 yards plus in 1 year. Okay? I don't know. I didn't write down his career totals. I just wrote down his best year, and his best year was 2013, 4,600, right? And 37 touchdowns is a crap ton of I'm sure that was a very pass-happy offense with those kind of numbers. Garrett is right where he should be with his medium-warm takes and is pretty likable as commentator. Yeah, he doesn't go like all crazy hot takes. He also isn't boring. He kind of like stays right down the middle. I only hate him as a commentator because of his days in Dallas. But he's really not that bad. Beavers, baby. Oregon State Beavers. That's right. Mannion is a Beaver lover, right? They call him the Eagle Beaver, yeah. Sixers game felt like a loss. I agree. It did. I commented on your watch party last night, Mitchie Poo, that it felt like they should be blowing this team out, and they weren't. And that's not good, right? It's not good when you're struggling to put away an 18-win team. It really is. You two teach Bill and Chet how to do their shows, how you mention everybody you're talking to. Like, it's not everybody's style. They don't answer everybody's comments. A lot of YouTubers and podcasters don't respond to people's comments. That's what my goal. That's why I call this show the People's Morning Show. Okay? Because I want this show to be about you guys, not about me. Okay? Not everybody does it that way. Okay? That's just my style. That's what I want it to be about. Because I got tired way back in the day watching shows and not having my opinion, supporting shows and not having my opinions put up on the screen. All wins are great wins. Exactly. You know what else? Other channels make you pay to have your comments put up. Not me. Now, I do make you watch an ad occasionally now, but that's it. Beavers and Cooters, new NFL reality sitcom, coming soon. That's what she said, yes. So we didn't get the Cooter, but we got the Beaver, right? Kings are the worst rebounding team in the league, and we got out-rebounded. Look, and they only played Andre Drummond for 4 minutes last night. They struggle to rebound the Sixers, yet there's rumors that they're going to trade their best rebounder in Andre Drummond. What's up, Jonathan? I was waiting to see what your opinion was on Sean Mannion. I voted safe choice. It's interesting. Nobody's talked about that as the option. I do like him as the OC, and I don't feel like it was a panic hire. Sean might become a future head coach in Philly instead of elsewhere. Here, elsewhere, I don't know. But it's very possible. I don't know if he's a safe choice. I think he's a risky choice because he does have zero experience calling plays, right? And everybody wanted an experienced play caller. But his meteoric rise, his backstory, listening to him speak on the microphone, which I have, looked at interviews of him. The dude's intelligent, smart, and confident. He also, the Packers last year, the Eagles ran the most hitch routes in football. I think the Packers were 31st in the league in hitch routes run. So, yeah. Always try to shout out your show every week. I appreciate that. I feel that too many people, okay, don't listen to their supporters on their shows. I really do. Mitch, what is really scary is both me and my 11-year-old son called the winning play design before it happened. It was just way too obvious what they were doing. Yeah, I agree. We all knew what they were doing on that play. It is a very good play. They were saying after the game, that's a very unguardable play because there's other options. Look, that play, when they run, it works, right? But they very rarely run successful out-of-bound plays. You can see the design from a mile away. Imagine if the Sixers lost yesterday. What would we have said? Don't know because they won. Yeah, it's true. Phil judges coaches by press conferences and hitch routes. I mean, they're two important things. Look, I really did not enjoy, or I could really see what was going to happen with Kevin Petullo based off of the way he spoke to the media on a weekly basis. You could see he was a Nick Sirianni clone, the way he spoke to the media in word salads, right? Sean Mannion will give that head coaching press conference type style, but he gives actual depth to his answers. And they're not 40. He's going to be he's not going to be Vic Fangio brash and in your face, but he's not going to be as vague as Kevin Petullo. And I want that in my coaches. Fire's in trouble. Bummy Briere got his work cut out at this deadline. Look, I told everybody to be cautious on getting their hopes up on the Flyers. Toole is more arrogant than he had any right to be in those interviews. Yeah, I like the way you phrased that. Was he just being word salad or was he being arrogant? I think he was a little bit of arrogance. I think he thought because he had a best friend as his boss that he was good. Now, I'll be curious to see now with Sean Mannion what they do with the rest of the coaching staff. Obviously, Jeff McClain reported yesterday that Jeff Stoutland had his run game coordinator role taken from him, right? But all expectations are that Jeff Stoutland will still be Sean Mannion's OC. Now, I'll be curious to see if he gets his run game coordinator position back or not, whether they make any other tweaks, whether Kevin Petullo sticks around in some type of role. Does Sean Mannion keep Scott Loeffler, a veteran, coach from college, to be his quarterback coach? Does he bring anybody in with him to help? Someone like a Moorhead, wide receiver coach? Maybe he goes by the wayside. I don't know. I'll be very curious to see what new additions are made to the coaching staff. Very difficult to put someone 6'2" in a position like that for a buzzer beater. I really hope they run more ball movement plays and less ISO. Yes, if Crawford and Painter shit the bed this year, Philly's going to be a third-place team. Yes, I agree. I don't think they will. I've always been very confident in Crawford and Painter, more so than Aiden Miller. Not saying I wouldn't have traded them ever for the right players, but I have very high confidence in both those players. I think they're going to thrive in MLB. I know you think Painter sucks. I do. But I think Crawford is going to settle in as a nice young player. I don't expect rookie of the year from either of them. I don't expect all-star games from either of them this year, but I expect them to play and contribute regularly very well. Mannion teaches O-line technique to just stout, probably. Third place in the NL East is first place in other divisions. I don't agree with that. He's going to be another scapegoat. He might be. If he fails, he could be, right? But if Sean Mannion fails and he is another scapegoat, that will also be the end of the Nick Sirianni era as well. And what's failing and what's succeeding? What does he need to do to be considered successful? Run a certain style of offense to a certain, efficiency, get to a certain level in the playoffs, win a Super Bowl. What will determine whether Sean Mannion is successful or a failure and another scapegoat? Miller going to be the best of the bunch. It seems to be trending that way, for sure. Who was it? What major guy was talking about Aiden Miller being the best prospect he has seen in Philadelphia since Mike Schmidt? Like that, there's a very reputable name, highly respected name, comparing Aiden Miller's progress to Mike Schmidt. Like, that's crazy. I think Crawford will be better. I'm expecting a 250, 260 season, him playing about 100 games. That's what I expect from Crawford. Crawford does nothing but hit at every stop. He will be a scapegoat. No, he'll be a scape beaver. Right, exactly. What is our identity again? Whose identity? Are you talking Sixers or Eagles? I don't know. The Sixers' identity? I don't know. The Eagles' identity? I don't know. So whichever one that you're asking, I don't know what our identity is at this point. Company business review meeting today. Nice and easy day. I feel like Phil in retirement. I'm going to go out and DoorDash for a good 8 to 10 hours today. I got to start making some money. I can't just be lounging around the house all day, every day. I got to start pumping out the funds, or I got to go find a job. I really got to consider finding a job soon if I don't DoorDash more often here. What that job will be, I don't know. See, the thing is, there was no identity last year, right? Actually, I disagree. We did have an identity. We were identified as a great defensive team, right? You can't ask what the identity of the 26 Eagles are yet because we don't know who's even going to be on the team. We know nothing about Sean Mannion, right? Let's get his introductory press conference next week, right? Or later this weekend. Have they announced a press conference yet? I don't think they have. Let's hear what he has to say. What's he going to say about the identity of this team? And then we can start formulating that, okay? We know the Eagles' offense had no identity in 2025. But it's too soon to tell what 26 will be. If Crawford was a legit hitter, he would have been called up last year when we need outfield help. Zero pop and hits ball on ground way too much. For MLB, he will be another Phillies flop. And you're really negative about the Phillies prospects outside of Aiden Miller, which is weird because you're so positive about the Phillies, but negative on the prospects. Me, I'm negative on the Phillies, but positive on the prospects. Why can't me and you ever see eye to eye? Dabrowski treats Crawford like Ben Revere. I hope he's better than that. DoorDash Phil would make. I should. Is there a way I can live stream on YouTube while I'm DoorDashing? That would be pretty funny. Such a tired narrative. Which one? A.J. Brown was the poison on the Phillies team last year. Or the Eagles. Phillies, Eagles. My mind's all in a pickle here. He might have been. And if he is here next year, which there is a chance. I know you think he's going to be gone. I know you want him gone. But they're not just trading him for a bucket of balls, right? So unless they get value, they're keeping him, right? So the question becomes, if he is here, how does Sean Mannion get him back on board? How does Sean Mannion bring him back in the fold in a way that we're excited for, right? How do we get him re-energized to be a part of this Eagles team next year, right? That's what we got to worry about now. That's what we got to think about with A.J. Brown. Colder than polar bear cooter outside, Phil. Make sure you bundle up. Dude, it's so cold. Hell, it's even cold in my house. The HVAC system can't keep up, right? Fireplace, HVAC system, the old baseboard heaters all on to get this house heated up. I got an old house. Got to be poorly insulated, probably. Here's your old order, sir. How do you like Sean Mannion? I should do interviews at every place I go. What is our offensive identity? We can't tell right now because we don't know. Now, if I had media credentials, okay, I don't know how I'd get them, but if I had media credentials, I would ask that question to Sean Mannion in the first press conference. I'd be like, what would you like the Eagles offense to be identity-wise in 2026? How will you, what do you want this Eagles offense to be known for, right? That would be my first question to him. More often than not, Phillies prospects are garbage. They usually draft like shit. That is true. And the Dodgers are the complete opposite. That's why the Dodgers can constantly make trades because they always develop. I don't know if their prospects when they're drafted are good or not, but our developmental system has been broken, Rick, for a very long time. We do not develop the prospects. Most of these prospects come in when they're 17, 18 years old. You can't say that the prospects are garbage when they're 18 years old. You got to blame the developers who aren't developing 18-year-old prospects into MLB quality players. The narrative surrounding Justin Crawford. Got you. That's what is such a tired narrative. Look, I like him. I think he's going to be a very good baseball player for us. Will he be a superstar? Maybe not. But I think Justin Crawford will be excellent or good enough this year. He'll be better than Ben Revere. That's for sure. AJ is the Castellanos of the Eagles. Castellanos is still here. 85 Cardinals took ground balls all the way to a World Series. That's true. That's true. You can lie to yourself and say Painter and Crawford are going to succeed, but you're lying to yourself. Just like you're lying to yourself that the Phillies won a World Series. We're going to win a World Series. And I told you they weren't. At the very least, you should ask your DoorDash customers to be like, share and subscribe. I was thinking, should I go out and buy like 1,000 stickers with the QR code on it? Because you could do that, right? Pretty cheaply. You could buy stickers or little things to put with each order. I would much rather have ground balls than have guys constantly flying out because they're trying to hit home runs every bat. Crawford is going to be good. What's up, Anthony? How you doing today? Hope you are well, my man. But yeah, I agree with you. Hi, Bruce. How you doing? Good morning. And get a snuggly. I keep the house at 55 during the day, 72 in the evening. Last night, I was trying to keep it about 62, 65 during the day. Yeah, about 60. It just sucks. Our house is so poorly insulated. It's just uninformed. Yes, I agree. Crawford didn't come up last year because they aren't going to platoon him. Yeah, they want him to play every day. That's why Crawford wasn't here. Absolutely agree. All the great players in the Phillies are not homegrown, and I don't care about that. Most of the Dodgers aren't homegrown either. There's nothing wrong with buying championships. But to buy championships, you have to have owners willing to spend money. But on top of that, on top of spending money, they got to develop prospects to trade as well. Guys, I missed the reset. It's past 9 o'clock. It's 9:03 in the morning. If you're watching live, if you're watching on replay and you have not already, hit the like button. We're at 20 likes, but there's 28 votes on the poll. It means some of you haven't. Hit the like button. Please share this out. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. We're sitting at 1,007 subscribers right now. Hit those buttons. It's free to do, guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. Time will tell is dominating the poll at 54%. Love it. The hiring of Sean Mannion, that is 36%. Hate it was 4%, which means it was one person. Safe choice is 7%, which is two people. So that's where you're at right now with the poll question. Guys, hit the buttons. We're going to churn on here for another 30 minutes. A Bader fan talking about others lying to themselves is comical. Very good. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. I miss you in the chat regularly. Don't worry. My narrative on the Phillies this year will not be championship. This team is about to collapse. Look, I asked this question on the show because of you. I put it on Twitter. I forget how the poll vote went on Twitter, though. Are the Phillies closer to winning a championship or missing the playoffs? And I think they're more likely to miss the playoffs than win a World Series. Excuses are the bricks that build the house of failure, and I'm hearing Phillies excuses. The window is closed. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. I hope to get to 2,000. Yeah. I hope the next 1,000 doesn't take as long as the first 1,000, and I think it will not. We're going to keep grinding. I got a new show idea coming out. All right? Phillies narrative will be all negative this year. Oh, it's going to be negative. It is. I said it the other day. It is. I'm not looking forward to the chore that will be being a Phillies fan. because they're going to collapse. They're going to be bad this year at times. They're going to be good at times, right? But it's going to be such a chore to watch this team. I still will. I still will support them, but it is going to be a chore. You live rent-free in everybody's head. 29 teams won't win a championship this season. That doesn't mean their season was a failure. But it's the point of the comment. Will they be successful, or will they be an utter failure? Which way will it go? Which way will it go? Which way will it go? The Phillies will not win more than 90 games. They might. They might not. But it's not about how many wins they get in the regular season, Robert. It's about playoff success. And they're not going to have any. Phillies are probably going to miss the playoffs because of a lazy front office. I don't know if it's lazy, blind, unwilling to admit their failures and mistakes. I don't know. If I pissed off even one person today on this show, then I have exactly. Dude, Rick, we had this lady, okay? This really old lady that we used to deliver to at the pizza shop, okay? She lived in like a little condo apartment, like in a controlled rent housing development. She was a really old lady. And you would knock on her door. She would tell you to come in because she couldn't get up. She had oxygen tanks all over. She was old, heavyweight, overweight, barely move off her couch. But she would have a pack of cigarettes sitting on her table every time you deliver her lunch. And I asked her one day, I'm like, how you feeling? She's like, not that good. I'm like, well, I don't want to lose you as a customer, so hang in there. And she's like, oh, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. My goal was to piss off 1,000 people, and I'm not at 1,000 pissed off people yet. So that her goal was to live long enough to piss 1,000 people off. And I loved it. So if you pissed off people, you're like that old lady. They just want to piss people off. Dave Dombrowski bought into the Dodgers thinking they were lucky to beat the Phillies. Yeah, they weren't lucky to beat the Phillies. They were better, plain and simple. Man, we really got into a Phillies tangent here today. That's the point of trending in the AM. I want to talk Eagles and Sean Mannion. You want to talk Phillies? That's what we do. That's why this is the People's Morning Show. Phillies are taking a gap year this year. Then they get Casty and Walker off the books and we'll have money for next year. Well, that gap year is going to be painful to watch. I love the phrase gap year, though. No championship for the Phillies for at least another decade. They ran it back 5 years in a row in 2012, and it started a 9-year playoff drought. This is their 5th year running it back this year. Are we about to see a 9-year playoff drought after this year? We messed up in the offseason, but if Painter and Crawford play like stars and Bohm can get better, then we could be a top team. Top team in the regular season, yes, if these things happen. Top team in the playoffs? I highly doubt it. This team is not built to beat the Dodgers or the Mets even on paper in a best-of-5 or best-of-7 series unless they get red hot. Phillies are a top 10 team in baseball. They're the number 2 team in the National League likelihood to win the World Series. I think they're the 4th or 5th best odds to win the World Series, period. So people still think in betting circles and in league circles that the Phillies are a great team, but we could see right through that. She was not. She was so sweet, though. And I always want to ask, what is up with the 40 packs of cigarettes right next to your oxygen tanks? But just when a customer tells you, hey, I'm not leaving this earth till I piss off 1,000 more people, you got to love that personality. Top 10 counts for nothing. Exact. Championship or nothing is all I care about at this point. We might be able to. One cancer for another. Also, maybe we can make a trade. Yeah, the season's got to play out, right? Phillies out-hit and outscored the Dodgers, and they still lost. Phillies are cooked. No, I'm not ready to go back to the late 90s, the days of Ricky Otero and Rex Hutler. Wow, there's some names. Oh, Ricky Otero, I remember it. What's up, Jason? How you doing? I want to look forward to baseball season, but I can't. Wake me up in October if there is one. Jason, but the thing is, I host a daily morning show. I'm going to have to watch and pay attention to talk about the Phillies every single day. Pray for my soul, okay? Do you agree with the word choice that I have, that this year will be a chore? It's going to be such a chore. I'm not planning any big tailgates to go down to the Phillies game. We were going to go to Clearwater for spring training, my wife and I, but we chose to go to Fort Myers instead. Because no reason to waste money on this Phillies team or energy. We're getting there. Guys, like, subscribe, share, hit those buttons, please. I feel that baseball needs the cap, as nobody could really be as good as the Dodgers. I don't know how they're going to do that, Bruce. There's a lot of talk that after the season there's going to be a lockout, and they are going to try to institute a tax or a cap, a salary cap. How they'll get there, I don't know. But you better enjoy this baseball season, because there's a chance there will be no baseball in 2027, or at least not much of it. There's going to be a long, drawn-out lockout process after the season, and it's all going to be centered around salary cap, and I don't know how they fix it. The Phillies didn't out-hustle, outfield, or out-fundamental the Dodgers. That's true. Casty not getting the right lead on the bunt personifies why they lost. That to me, the details, that falls on coaching, right? We didn't change our coaching. Phil will be broken watching the Phillies this year. He needs to take the same attitude he's been taking on the Sixers. Yeah, it's hard, though, right? To take the no expectations approach like I did with the Sixers. Like, last night's struggled win would have pissed me off a lot more in years past, right? The loss to the Hornets would have had me cussing and screaming at my TV. But it's hard for me to do that with the Phillies, because the Phillies set expectations that they can't reach. The Sixers don't do that. Phillies know. Sixers know. Flyers know. Looks kind of bleak on the Philly sports scene. Hope the Eagles can do it again. They're the only hope for the next decade. They are. They really are. My number one team is the Phillies. So is mine, really. So I will never stop believing. I agree. And I think that's also a part of my problem, where I can't take the same Sixers approach with the Phillies. The Phillies are my baby, okay? I mean, I'll never not root for. My first tattoo was a Phillies tattoo. I love the Phillies. I am blind when it comes to the Phillies. Like, I don't have any objective looks at the Phillies. Details is why they won in 08. Absolutely. Everybody knew their role. Everyone did what they had to do. Everyone stepped up when called upon. Everyone was ready at their opportunity. You know, I go back to in 08, just off the top of my head, when I'm talking about taking advantage of your opportunity, right? Jeff Jenkins got regulated to the bench, right? But then in that game, wasn't he the one that he got called upon after the night-long rain delay the next day and hit a big double coming out of the rain delay the next night, right? Taking advantage of your opportunities. No one in the Phillies take advantage of their opportunities. Just remember, I tried for a long time to be positive about the Phillies and all Philly teams, but y'all didn't want to hear that, so now we get the opposite. That's good. Bring on I want to see negativity Rick, so I can flip the switch and be the positive Rick for the next month. It's hard because the Phillies were my first Philly sport I got into, because at the time it was affordable as a young kid. Yes, absolutely agree with you on that one. Can we get January 26th sports do-over? Well, January's over, right? What's today? Today's the 30th, right? So tomorrow's the last day of January. I don't think there's any do-over. Let's just move on to February, the month of love, and hope it's better, right? Sixers are my number one. It sucks. See, the thing is, I watch more Sixers than Phillies. I can dissect and debate the Sixers more objectively because I understand the sport more. I was a terrible baseball player, but I just loved it. The magic of baseball as a kid still exists, right? Jenkins took advantage of his moment and got them going again, right? Without Jeff Jenkins, maybe it turns out differently, right? So, you know, I think that's a big problem with the Phillies. Hamels being unhittable had a lot to do with it. He did, absolutely. I feel that way too, and think maybe we can make a big trade for a good player. Look, the thing is, we could make a trade, right? Problem is, I don't have confidence in Dave Dombrowski making the trade necessary or having the cojones to make the necessary move to get them there. He's had an opportunity for 2 years, 3 years to make a big trade to get us over the top. He hasn't. Sixers need to trade VJ and George for Giannis and go win the title. Going and getting Giannis and giving up on VJ Edgecombe would be an utter disaster. Why? First off, Giannis and Joel Embiid would be a disaster on the floor together, spacing-wise, okay? First and foremost. Okay? 2 starters for 1 starter. What are you going to do? Who else is going to start? I guess McCain or Grimes. McCain or Grimes cannot give you what VJ Edgecombe gives you already. All right? I think Giannis to the Sixers would be an epic failure. But it would be an exciting splash move. And let me tell you something. That's what Daryl Morey likes to do. But I think it would be an awful idea to go get him. It's not that I'm not willing to part with the prospect either. I think Giannis on the Sixers with Joel Embiid. Now, if you could trade Joel Embiid for Giannis, now you're talking maybe. And I love Joel Embiid. I'm going down with the Joel Embiid ship. I'm not trading him, right? But if you get off of Joel Embiid for Giannis, then you're talking. A Giannis Maxey 1-2 would be pretty special. The kickouts from Giannis to Maxey for an open 3 would be huge. Flyers are in a funk. It's not too late for them to pull it back. I'm also kind of wondering if Travis, I'm tired of missing the playoffs, Konecki won't be named captain before the season is out. Look, there is time to pull it out, but they have gone from being a top team in their division or conference to being outside the playoffs in a very short order. Rick Tocchet got to shake those babies and wake them up. Utley, Worth, Felice, Chooch, and Joe Roll did all the subtle things right almost all the time. People forget about somebody like Pedro Feliz, right? Absolutely agree with you, Nooms. I understand what you mean, but I feel this year maybe he will. Maybe. I don't live in a land of fairy tales. If he hasn't done it for 3 years, why would he do it this year? Right? He could have done it this offseason, and he didn't. There's no way to get to where the Dodgers are, so why not enjoy the season and pray that luck is on our side? I mean, luck is literally the only thing we have going for us right now. Is Morey going to star hunt this team into BS again? Possibly. And I think going for Giannis or Ingram would be star hunting and a mistake. Plain and simple. I don't get that at all. Giannis scored 50 in a finals game. Him and Maxey would be incredible. But it's not him and Maxey. It's him, Maxey, and Embiid. You go get Giannis, you're going to see even more Joel Embiid hitting three-point shots or missing three-point shots because it's not going to be the same, but it's going to be similar to the disaster of pairing Al Horford and Joel Embiid. Two guys that like to play down low. Two guys that like the ball in that slow half-court set. Giannis doesn't shoot the 3. Joel Embiid shouldn't shoot the 3. I think there would be so much congestion, offensively speaking, there. Thank God the ads don't go over your show. Hey, appreciate that. I've only had ads pop up on my screen twice throughout the show. Flyers now have the 6th worst record in the league now. Wow, it's gotten that bad? Wow. Phil's got bills to pay, can't live in fantasy land, waiting for it to play. Yeah, look, I agree. Breaking news, Phil's into shaking babies. Maybe, maybe not. Isn't that the only way to get him to stop crying? No wonder my sister asked Melissa, not me, to babysit her kids at the beginning of March when she's got a work trip to do. I wasn't asked to spend the night at her house for 3 nights. My wife was. Every other team is playing with house money. The only team set up to be killed by failure is the Dodgers. I say I've only had 2 ads, and a 3rd ad just popped up at that exact second. That's kind of funny there. That as I say it is when it happened. But easy to... Yeah, I said no ads, and then we get hit with the ads instantly. It's funny. It's super funny. I love it. Hey, whatever. Ads are what they are. That's the goal for a YouTuber, right? To be able to get YouTube ad revenue, right? Isn't that a goal? You know, I don't do this. It costs money to do this shit. If I can offset the cost of StreamYard and Canva and Twitter X, that's what I got to do. Anyway, we're coming up on the final 10, 12 minutes of today's show. If you guys haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. We're at 22 likes. Not bad. Not the worst. We have 29 votes on the poll, though. Okay, so on my side screen, it's actually popping up all over the video. I always run it on the side so I can see the poll and see things and stuff like that. So it's popped up over my face 3 times now throughout the show, basically every 25 minutes. Hey, look, whatever, 10 cents an ad, it is what it is. It adds up. With the amount of content I put out there, it adds up. 10, 15 shorts a show a day, 5 checkdowns, 5 trending in the AMs, plus everything else. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, I could go to a lower amount of ads. There's 3 levels, low, medium, and high on ads. I went to the middle to start. That was what was recommended. I'm glad we're not the Nets who blew 5 picks. Look, I didn't hate, yeah, pretty much. Popping up over your face. It might be. This is not a face for TV. This is not a face for YouTube. This face is why Jason Lee's show was canceled, originally, because it's got put on TV twice. It ruined a, years-long show. When people see this face, they go, right? It's not a face for TV. Whatever. Anyway, let's bring it all full circle, right? We've been talking Sean Mannion, the Eagles' new offensive coordinator today. We spent a decent amount of time talking Sixers and Phillies today as well, which I was kind of shocked. What's on tap next week? Next week, we get to dive into stay or go. We'll do a day of stay or go on the offense, a day of stay or go on defense. We'll obviously get a press conference to discuss from Sean Mannion at some point. But I'm excited for the future of the Eagles, okay? I am. Man, I loved My Name is Earl. I never really got into it much. It is if they make a Grizzly Adams remake. Okay. Gotcha. I've thought about trimming this all down deep. Ad revenue pays for your YouTube subscription. What? I don't even know what that means. Whatever. Anyway, but that's what we've talked about today. That's what's on tap next week. We got another big weekend ahead of us of cold weather, maybe bad weather coming. And there's no football. I'm going to tell you something, actually. There is something big this weekend. And that's tomorrow night's Sixers game, right? Where they honor the 2001 Philadelphia 76ers. And I forget who it was, but somebody on the radio just recently, just the other day, I forget who it was, but I saw it pop up on social media, somebody bashing it, saying that the 2001 Sixers shouldn't be celebrated because they didn't win a title. Are they right on that? Are they accurate in that? I don't know. I also saw another video saying that Allen Iverson was the most overrated player of 90s basketball. And I thought that was a non-local content creator, non-local sports guy, someone from New York or something saying that. I thought that was a total dumbass thing to say. But do we view the 2001 Sixers too fondly? Or not fondly enough? Or just right? Because the 2001 Sixers were such a fun team. Such a exciting team to watch. They didn't win a title. They fell short of, arguably, one of the greatest duos of all time. It was funny. One of the radio shows in Philly had Pat Croce on yesterday or 2 days ago. And they asked him about this upcoming 2001 celebration. If there was something different he would have liked to have done so that they could have gotten that team to the title. And his answer, Pat Croce's answer on the radio is, I wish I would have taken a knee to Shaquille O'Neal's, a bat to Shaquille O'Neal's left. He said, I wish I took a bat to Shaquille O'Neal's knees. I was like, oh, man. But, yeah, that might have been the only thing he could have done, right? They shouldn't be celebrated if not for being an ass franchise. Well, I mean, there's nothing else to celebrate, right? Because that's all we got, right? Like, I didn't need the black jerseys to come back because they didn't win, right? But I get why they're celebrating it. They are the only ones who beat the Lakers in the playoffs. We did win one game, right? All the other times they were dominating, sweeping. I think they did sweep every round of the playoffs that year. Low expectations that resulted in success, so it put us higher. I mean, it was the epitome of a team having only one star and a lot of role players. Yeah, he wanted his Lansdowne boys. Was it Lansdowne or Lansdale that he said? Whatever. It's beside the point. But yeah. He's like, oh, I got to get my boys from down in Lansdowne to take a bat to his knee. I still say, was it the game 5 or game 6 when Vince Carter had like a late buzzer beater shot to win it? I thought that was going down and the Sixers were going to lose. I really did. And actually, I want to say, what's his name with the Bucks had a last-second shot attempt to win a game that could have changed that series. The Sixers were very fortunate to get through to the finals that year. They were. Sometimes you just get the breaks your way, right? Maybe the Phillies could go on a 2001 Sixers type run, although they probably did that in 2022. In 25 years, well, it would be 22 years now. In 2047, are we going to be celebrating the 2022 Phillies like we are the 2001 Sixers right now? I thought we were losing Bucks Game 7 and Tyronn Hill blocked a shot, I think. Maybe that's what I'm remembering from the Bucks. I remember the Raptors, Vince Carter, having a fadeaway shot at the three-point line that I just knew in my head was going to go in, and we were going to lose that game. I think I got that right. I think it was Vince Carter. Hey, Robert, thank you very much. Time to go put rock salt down. Hey, got to be safe, okay? No falling this weekend, guys. No tripping. If it is bad weather, stay in. If it's not, go out. Show some support to your local restaurants. They need it, for sure. The Phillies have won 2 more playoff games than the Pirates and A's in the last 2 years. Oh, man. Ty Hill also interrupted Vince Carter's game-winning shot attempt. Was he? I gotta go. I think that was the play I thought was going in. Ty Hill was a type of player that the Sixers team could use, right? A guy that could get some buckets, but grabbed rebounds, played defense, etc. 0-1 Sixers were fun. 22 Phillies were 2 innings from not being important. They got lucky. Why were the Sixers fun? Because Allen Iverson, right? Because Allen Iverson resonated with Philly so well. Allen Iverson went out there as the small man, and just dominated. Kept every time he got knocked down, he kept on getting up. Injured, playing, right? The story of Allen Iverson, them having to hide his sneakers because they needed him to sit out a game because of an injury, right? Because he wouldn't, it's like, dude, I'm playing. That Iverson personality is why that Sixers team was fun and special, because we resonated with him so much. Yeah, we wish he practiced more. We wish he went to the gym more. We wish he would have cut out some TGI Fridays drinking sessions. But outside of that, Iverson was so resonate or so relatable to Philly, right? Absolutely. I actually think sticking with Theo Ratliff would have been the smarter decision, honestly. People got on Vince Carter for being a North Carolina at NC graduation the night before or in the morning that day. I don't remember that. Iverson, the energy in the building, absolutely. Not sure if this was mentioned, but I just saw that Sean Mannion was the OC for the West team at the Shrine Bowl earlier this week. No, I did not see that. That's interesting. That's good. It was also the AI personality that held the team back at times. Absolutely agree. You're spot on with that. But I think we also just related so much to him, right? That it made things fun. Yeah, and Matt Geiger was hurt as well in the playoffs, at least in that Lakers series at times. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Anyway, it's time to wrap this baby up. Thanks for putting up with a few ads, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. It was a great week, huge week for me. Being able to say we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark really, really meant a lot this week. I couldn't do it with each and every one of you helping support me, but mainly to you guys, the regulars in the chat. We're up to 1,008. We gained another new one today. UCore 12, Elephant, Big Al, Steve, K1, Marshawn, Nooms, Josh Allen, TMZ, whatever, Robert, you guys, Duck, Anthony, Rick, Mitchie Poo. You guys are why I do this. You guys get me up in the morning to do this. This show has got me through so much. So to hit that goal, I don't know why that was the goal. It wasn't for the ads. It wasn't for the revenue. It was just seeing that 1,000 number just meant a lot to me. So I want to say thank you one more time. Next week's another week. Next week, we start the climb to 2, right? But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This week has been special. Celebrate because it was sandwiched between ducats and crap. Absolutely. We hear that. We got you. We get Phil up, boys. Yeah. I didn't know what you were saying. I thought you were saying something nice, and I'm like, oh, shit. I know what he's saying there. But, yes, I did say that. You get me up. All right, Big Al? You get me up every day. I can't wait till next week. Maybe I might do something on Saturday night. We'll see. Sixers celebrating 2001. Maybe we do a Sixers watch party on Saturday night. We'll see how I feel. We'll see what's up. I got to go make some money. I got to go DoorDash this weekend. Try to bring in a couple $100 so I can do more shows next week. But anyway, guys, everybody have a great weekend, okay? Thank you. Be safe if the weather's bad, guys. Sean Mannion is your new OC. Go Birds, guys. And bubbles up.